Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this lovely world and on your own screen. You've chosen the right place to be right now with Kenneth Christensen, Thomas, and myself, and having a hot topic today, such as global alliance management challenges in the software solution market. Now, this having said, it is our most favorite exercise, what we like to establish and re-establish, that you join the discussion. Please feel free to drop in your favorite social media account your questions, your comments, and we are happy to show them and challenge our guest, Kenneth, with one or the other observation from your end. Now,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to this. We all do. And Kenneth is a seasoned founder and executive with over 17 years of experiences in team leadership and strategic alliance building within the Microsoft ecosystem. He has held key leadership roles, including managing director at Audius Netherlands and Audius France, and senior manager at Deloitte. His actual role reflects very much on his achieved recognitions in sales and his experience in alliance management. Actively working for proMX now, he has also been in the entrepreneur role, as he was the owner, co-owner and founder of On Demand for You. In the early stages when the Microsoft universe was not as SMB, let's say, minded, he took the opportunity to get CRM in that arena, very known, knowledgeable, and famous. Now, having said that, what did I miss, Kenneth, in your introduction? Please add.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, it's really that I probably also have a consulting and a project management background from former times. But the last 18 years, I moved more and more towards sales and other areas. So yes, but of course, having that background always helped me to be also, let me say, more authentic probably in sales, because I probably know more than a normal salesman what I'm talking about in some cases at least.
Well, that sometimes helps.
It can help. Sometimes you don't want to know it, but okay.
Let us please a bit of the uniqueness and leading role in the international expertise on project organizations and what you have been recently spreading over the globe, as you have now the role that you do global alliance management for a solution which you have developed unique to the demand of customers, which could not have been fulfilled with the project management tool or the project managing tool. Not that we are criticizing Microsoft Project, which is a nice product, but it is more the professional management, such as setting up people, managing people, billing people, professional services like.
I mean, it's like Excel is the project, MS Project. It's a great tool if you use it for a small group of people at least, or at maximum. But when it comes to real enterprise scale, where you are managing thousands of people, you don't want to do that with MS Project anymore. Yeah, simply not possible. Nor with Excel in the end. Yeah. So, and that's exactly why Microsoft came up with project operations as a tool, and Dynamics project operations. So it is part of the Dynamics product family, as you probably know. And yeah, proMX was in the very early times of when Microsoft came up with it in 2015, was it? Became a very strong partner of Microsoft in that area. The reason for that was that there was nothing in that space prior to MS prior to PSA, as it was called at that time, Project Service Automation. And proMX has its own tool that was attached to, as an add-on to Dynamics Sales, doing this kind of easy project management. And then Microsoft came up with it, and they are in essence asked proMX, do you want to stay competitor, or do you want to work together with us? And Peter took or CEO took the right decision at that time. And he said, yeah, okay, I will bring in my knowledge from what I've done so far and help your organization to develop PSA, or Project Operations as it's called now. It was renamed later. And this led to a very unique collaboration between proMX and Microsoft. And that's why the organization here at proMX also has a very deep insight into that product, which is a quite complex product. It is not. It has many depths and possibilities, and so that's also probably the reason why many other partners struggle to really work with it, because you need really to have a lot of experience in that area to consult and implement it very efficiently and effectively. So that is really has the value to the customers that it can bring. So, and yeah, that's let me say the story of proMX. And I was at that time, when I had my own company, partner of proMX. So that's where I know Peter from. We had a relationship, and later when I had sold my company, Peter asked me if, because I also have a good relationship with Microsoft and other partners. I know the partner ecosystem, the space here. And so we decided that it's a good idea if I join him for building those alliances here. And of course, also helping in sales and with projects as well.
So it is a flexible role you have.
It is flexible. In the beginning, I thought I could do more in alliance management, but to be honest, it's not filling all my day. So of course, then it makes sense to look also into other areas here, and that's what happened. And of course, I mean, it's also what I like to do. Yeah. So on the one hand, what is also interesting about proMX is, I think, is we're not a classical Microsoft partner in the sense of SI, doing just software system integration, but we are also moving more to become an ISV, software vendor. So we have add-ons that we are developing and selling on, especially on Dynamics Project Operations. And that means that the idea of proMX is more and more to become more an ISV than an SI. And we're looking for partners, especially resell those ISV solutions. And those ISV solutions are also in sync with the Microsoft development team. So we know that what we are developing here is nothing that interferes with Microsoft's development plan.
Thomas, you wanted to prior to my interruption to ask something.
If Microsoft becomes all in on AI right now,
yes,
that has an impact on software as well as on services. And well, you apparently already change into an ISV role, so means provide more software than services. But what impact do you see on the services right now? Also considering expectations that clients raise.
Yeah, on the one hand, I mean, we are obviously at the early stage now still of AI, of the possibilities. So at the moment, customers are asking for possibilities still. Yeah, we are supposed to give them make ideas, and they have one or smaller expectations, but it's not that it's still groundbreaking. But if you are asking now from a consulting perspective, how it affects our own business, I think this is going to change a lot, because AI is obviously now more and more becoming competent enough to do software development itself. It can configure a Power Platform. So you will not need a developer anymore to make a small approval workflow or whatever. You just more or less tell it in natural language to a bot what you want to achieve, and it's going to happen that way. So, of course, life is not that simple in the end, especially when it comes to enterprise, because there is also a lot about compliance and regulations, what people may not see, and so just a famous example from the beginning was that when I don't know which company it was, but they just started with AI, say, okay, here is just our SharePoint, take it and answer questions, and then it took, of course, the details of the contracts of the employees, and it just told you if you asked about the salary of the CEO or whatever. So because it has access. I mean, it's just everybody could ask everything. So of course you don't want to have that, but in order to really manage that the AI knows which information is eligible to get to whom, you have to have, of course, your data structured in a certain way. Yes, and these prerequisites you need to have before you really start with an AI project. And many companies still struggle with that. So it is still, from my perspective, quite limited what they have as possibilities. But of course, people know how to do it and where to get. And it will take some time, but they will get there. That AI can also take this data then.
It's not only software development, but it's also, let's say, the research, let's say the consulting that a typical SI also does, whether one can call that consulting or not. So the implementation services, which often increasingly often are outsourced anyways to India, Vietnam, in order to follow the pricing pressure. And the next step then is to outsource from Vietnam to into a server.
Yes.
So because there is some pricing expectations, which probably also changes the roles of the people.
I guess so as well. So at least the simpler configuration work, as said, will certainly be done by AI in the future. However, still, let me say, doing all the transformation, because it's not only about implementing just a solution, it's a business transformation that needs to be done with also change management. I mean, it's something in principle AI could do also in future. I don't really doubt that, but I don't see that we are yet there. However, maybe in 10, 20 years, things will be different. I don't know.
What's missing besides data being organized?
I think it's still too complex, really, to translate business requirements into the transformation path that business needs to go. So this is something, of course, where consultants with experience can also bring in their knowledge and say, okay, this is how you preferably should do it. Also, it's maybe knowledge that has never been really written. So AI can, of course, only take information and experiences that have been captured somehow in documents. And still there is some knowledge, I guess, that people have more in their minds and in the practice than on paper, in documents. For that reason, I think that there is still not the possibility really to do it with AI. But as said, I'm pretty sure that AI will be more and more capable to do that. Yes. And we will probably also have this super intelligent AI in not so far future that is going to do really everything itself. Yeah.
How do you prepare for that as a business, not as a person?
As a business, we are providing our own agents now, also to our customers. So yes, that's our latest ISV development. So based on Microsoft technology, of course, in the space of well, we are purely Microsoft oriented, but it could of course be any AI area. But because this of course is the story we want to provide to our customers, is that you can take those bots or agents, as they're called in Microsoft space, for, let me say, more specific project-oriented information. Yeah, and so Microsoft already provides a bunch of AI capabilities here, like forecasting, for example, which is quite impressive. It can put together a project plan already out of experience that it finds in the system. So I've seen that. I was very impressed first time. It's also good for smart time tracking, for example, that it can take, say, help the individuals to say, okay, you had those, this was your daily schedule, you have had those emails. I expect you have worked so and so much on these items, and then it puts together your time tracking, and this is already there. Yeah? So this is not future, and this saves a lot of time for people. And this is what Microsoft provides out of the box, more or less. But still, there are more specific agents needed when it comes to project portfolio management and other areas where we are also more deeply involved, and that's what we can provide here.
In how far is there? Well, in how far does Microsoft keep out of your business, or the other way around?
I know what you mean. I mean, we have been disrupted once before, as I said, 2015, when Microsoft came with PSA. So you never have a guarantee for that, that Microsoft will not disrupt your business. However, as we have a very good and deep relationship with Microsoft, and so far, I mean, they are open and honest what that means. Yeah. And when they want to disrupt something and they know that you're in the space, we also make the experience that they give a warning, or let me say, not a warning, but discuss it with you. So they don't want to destroy your business from what I've seen in the past. But of course, if the software vendor decides to go a certain direction and to bring it as a standard product, they will do it. Yeah.
I love to be the teaser on that one, such as long as they build their products like they are used to build them, there is a lot of room for improvement for the partners which do it better. Exactly. Such as the better is the enemy of the good, and Microsoft only was good.
And we're building this IP based on Microsoft technology, so it's not that there is any kind of competition. Yeah. So that's also they are encouraging partners to do.
Yeah. That is the story behind an ISV at the end of the day. And so it should help to keep the real competitors from other vendors out of your space, as long as you can provide needed and requested solutions. Having said that, products is one end, human beings the other end. The agents coming up are interesting enough. What is the cultural clash you have observed over the years? Working with people from France is already a lot of different than working, for instance, in Frankfurt area or Rhine-Main area or in North Rhine-Westphalia.
Much easier.
And coming from Scandinavia, so Denmark, is also another experience, and working then with people from the Netherlands, like my son, and then having business abroad, the US, such as you have your own branches in several arenas. I counted 9 now in total, where you are active, including Singapore, 4 times India, Sydney, 9 in total if I didn't miscount, right?
Yes, that's right. We have 9 subsidiaries now, together with the headquarter. So it's proMX has really grown to be global partner now. It's not that we are a GSI, global system integrator, far away. Still, we are very working very specifically mainly on project operations. And this is also a great story working together with Microsoft, because they know about our unique expertise in this area. They are also asking us to move into those areas, like Australia. So they came up with opportunities for us that we could take and build now our Sydney office, which just happened because we acquired a first customer with the help of Microsoft. So that is really very helpful. And that's probably also the best advice I can give to any partner, is really to focus on a certain area, to become known in that space, together with and of course tell it to Microsoft and do good things and tell it to Microsoft, and then they are very helpful to help you grow in that areas, because they also have the let me say the challenge that they need partners that grow their business.
Yeah. What do you see and observe for hurdles in the partner landscape in total, aside of potential cultural differences?
You mean for growing your business?
And managing your business and managing customers' expectations.
Okay. Managing business, of course. I mean, you can see it here with this company. As I said, it's still this. We're less than 200 people here, but it has the businesses tripled through the last 3 years. Yeah. So also both in people and in revenue. So it is really a very significant growth that proMX has had here and is still having. So, and of course that changes a lot for the organization, and it's from a management perspective. Of course, you need to cover that, and this is of course a challenge. Not my challenge in the first role, but I can see challenges, of course. As you said, there are cultural challenges, of course. I mean, we have now, I don't know exactly the number, but 60, 70 people in India. Yeah? And of course, you have to find a structure how to keep them, because they have a different way of thinking and loyalty also probably towards an organization than we Europeans expected. Yeah?
Okay. Tell us a bit more about it, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's honestly, I'm not very deep into that area, but of course, I can see that, especially in the beginning, we had a lot of changes. People hired and left again quite quickly. So there was in that case, Peter installed, let me say, a manager over there who helped to build the business. So he's partly owner of that India business, so he has a personal interest in keeping the people and managing them in the right way. So that's a very smart move, I think. And with that, you have, let me say, on the one hand, local management who knows how to manage the people and the expectations. And on the other hand, this person is very international, so that he knows, of course, how international customers are thinking and what they require. So that's, I think, the best way you can do it, to have local management people involved who have maybe some shares or whatever in the business, that they know how to manage and build the business locally.
Mandatory. I usually say you need a quote unquote spoiled Indian to manage an Indian operation. So spoiled in a sense like, well, westernized, exposed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly
proved helpful already in the late 90s when I first got exposed to India. So, and regarding people are coming and leaving, that one of my people back then told me better 3 times 1 year than 1 time 3 years. So they are taking care of their careers. Simple as. And
it is. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly. So it's a different way of thinking. Yeah. So and you have to be aware of that and somehow to address it. And
work with it. Yeah.
And you have to offer perspectives that they still stay. Yeah? Because especially in our space, as I said, in with this unique positioning that we have, it is really important to keep the people. We don't want to lose them because there is also high degree or high effort to educate them to get that far. So and this is working very well, as I can see at the moment. And but on the other hand, of course, but what is also probably different with proMX is that especially our Indian subsidiary is not just an offshore entity where we say they are working for Europe, United States, or whatever. They have their own business. So they have their own salespeople, business development, marketing, and so on. And they are acquiring their own projects in India and in the region, Bangladesh, whatever. So, and that is also interesting. And I think that is also a very smart move, not just to have them as a kind of remote office, but that they also have their own competencies to build.
Looking into the alliance management, I mean, it now should have been heard by the last and latest of our audience members that Microsoft is one key partner of yours.
Yes, definitely.
Microsoft is quite a specific organization. So what do you think are key criteria or key success factors when working with Microsoft?
So you have to understand what Microsoft needs, simply how they think. Especially, and there is not Microsoft as such, but there are certain people, different people, of course, working at Microsoft, and they have different positions, and you need to understand what these different positions are about, what their goals are, and then you have to say to get engaged with them and tell them how you can help them in their position, and vice versa, of course. Just as an example, we are very deeply involved and engaged with salespeople all around the globe with Microsoft. And the way we do it is simply that we can explain to them that if they have a project operations project, of course, they can give it to a local partner or whatever, but we have a much higher probability to close it, and we can prove that. And we also have a much higher probability to close it quickly, shorter sales cycle. And as we can show this everywhere, that's also why we get not only engaged, but also invited by Microsoft people all around the globe. And now in China and in Thailand, Indonesia, whatever. Yeah, so, and we understand what they need, and we can deliver this simply. This is on a sales base, but we also have, of course, more the managerial part, like the product development, where we, of course, know, as I said, we are very deeply involved engaged with the project operations team there, and we are constantly constantly have people over there in Seattle to discuss with the Microsoft management in that area on how to further develop project operations, because we are the most known partner in that space. We have the largest project, and we of course know also where competitors probably are better and where we have problems simply. Yeah. So that's how we are working together in different levels.
So you have a location near Redmond? If you're saying
No, actually
constantly,
not.
people
It's
across
just
the travel
it's
business.
just we have our CEO Peter, who is I think 1 or 2 weeks in Germany a year, and the rest he's just traveling around in India, Seattle, or wherever he
Oh
is.
my goodness!
Yeah, so he's all around.
He's living out of the suitcase, and
Yeah,
his
I had the
normal.
impression. So the first
If he's
question I
not-
always ask is, what time zone are you in?
Okay. And which airline you flew last, and how
Yeah.
many points have you gained, and how is Etihad versus the so lounge? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting how this developed. Yeah, coming
Yes.
from a very very
Bavarian.
to earth Nuremberg
Yes.
software company, having some stories told, and now he is the frequent traveler of the air.
Definitely.
Interesting aspect in he is traveling a lot, communicating a lot to different organizations and cultures, and so what is the observation you have in growing projects and the size of projects, which makes it also complex to handle? You managed, or you said one sentence such as, Microsoft project is not the real tool you'd like to go for if you have thousands of people to manage. So
Yes.
out of curiosity, what is your largest project you're working right on now?
The largest project has 23,000 users.
What?
Yes.
Okay. And with how many people are you involved in that project as a partner manager or as supervising it?
Yeah, actually, that's a project that I'm managing. So currently we have 8 people involved here. So,
okay.
But this is now really phase 2. First phase, was not much more, 10 people. Yeah. So that's about the size, but not all full. So it's let me say, from an FTE perspective, you can maybe manage it with 6-7 people.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot do half. I mean, we are not a KPMG or Accenture that moves in with 50 people, as we are very specific, very focused on what we do, and so the size of teams cannot scale endlessly here. Yeah.
And clients increasingly, we had this in the pre-talk, clients increasingly demand smaller teams
yes.
a
because they also have to consume it themselves. Yeah, it's not about us moving in with dozens of people. It's also that they have to deliver information back. I mean, they have to provide guidance on what they want to achieve and whether we are doing things right or not. And that's what we can see, of course, that some customers are struggling here, as dependent, of course, on how they enable their teams. But in some cases, the people involved, the product owners or business experts from their side, from customer side, they simply don't have the time for it, because they have to do their regular business next to that. And that's, for example, a very good choice. Because then they cannot keep the times, and that can really bring a project in trouble.
You're saying that you're working with the big four, basically.
Of course, yes.
In how far does the drift towards AI, sorry to bring it up again, impact this relationship?
I can't see that it has impacted our relationship. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I ask because they clearly see some pressure, as evidenced by their market capitalization. So just the other day, read an article that, which one was that got quoted? Since February, they basically lost almost 50% of their market capitalization, which is a an
people
opinion on their
expect that
future earnings.
that they will not be able to deliver so much in the future. That's that could be that I can imagine that. Okay, but coming back to your question, I don't really see this as a challenge for our relationship with those GSIs at the moment, because still, as we are very focused, on the one hand, we are not really competing against them, as long as they don't want to enter the space of project operations. But I don't see that they really do that in any way, because it's quite some investment, and the scale of projects is comparably low to what they usually do. So it's I don't see that it really would make sense for them either. That's but they are asking also for AI knowledge from our side. So how we can bring that in, so has a positive effect.
Do they mainly act as resellers for you, or is this a part? Well, I mean, there are GSIs, so they are obviously interested in implementation business.
Usually, we are talking about huge tenders with multiple of areas, probably not even Microsoft areas, but they want to have some kind of business transformation, and Microsoft technology is only one part of it, usually. And but of course, if what the GSI then sees, okay, if there now is a specific part from Microsoft project operations, or at least let me say Dynamics, they might not be well enough positioned to really convince the customer that they are the right partner. And they usually ask us then to move in and to convince the customer with our expertise and our, of course, also certifications. Because it's also about having credibility through certifications from Microsoft, and our people have those. And we as an organization have also so-called solution designations from Microsoft, which means that we are large enough and competent enough to do some certain things on modern work, AI, and so on.
How do clients react to that? Because basically they are engaging with one of the GSIs because they, quote unquote, well, can do it all.
They never expect the GSIs to do everything. I've never seen this to be an issue. It's they mainly want to have a main contractor, one addressee, so to say, for requirements and complaints. And this is what they expect from the GSI. And the GSI is supposed to then to manage everything in the background.
Okay.
So one face to the customer through a GSI.
Yes. And this, of course, on many areas then, for change management, for, I don't know, any kind of business transformation. And of course, technology is only one part of all that.
What are the others?
It's also about changing the business, for example, especially when it now comes to AI. People are, of course, requesting on how does this affect our business? How can it make us more effective? I mean, before we talked about an airline doing that. It's not only about implementing an AI bot that is maybe suggesting something to end customers, but you also need to have the back office that is giving all the information and that is processing all this. So this means it's a massive change for an organization to adapt to those new technologies. And this is something you shouldn't underestimate. And larger customers don't underestimate that, and they have huge tenders with where we're talking about millions of euros per year that they are spending.
Just in mentioning that one, millions of euros and large customers, what are the industry-specific requirements which you came across?
Actually, for project operations, there is not so much difference from what I have experienced. I must, though, admit that I'm not very deeply involved in the requirements. However, of course, what I do see is that there are different areas that are more important or less important, depending on industries. So if we, for example, take mechanical engineering, like building trains or trucks or whatever, these are highly complex products where you have hundreds, thousands of steps to fulfill before you have your product ready. So these are large, complex products, and you don't have many of them per year, so to say. That's, of course, different to a consulting company, which we also have as customers. Like in India, we have a huge customer with 19,000 users for managing their resources with project operations. And Microsoft, the project operations as such, can cover both directions. Yeah. But it's not that it needs to be reinvented or completely customized in the one or the other direction. It's just that you focus more on the one area or the other one. And so this is what I can say, that of course dependent on industries, the requirements are of course a little bit different. Yeah.
So
frequent guests.
Assume that the chemical company does engineer to order if they're using a process management software for their sales cycle.
It's not only for the sales cycle. So we are usually not so much in sales cycles. It can also happen that people manage, or that companies manage their sales, or let me say the technical sales, for example, with project operations. That happens also. But mainly it's more the operational part that is being managed with project operations.
Our honest, frequent viewer and throwing in a question friend, Graham Robson, is around the corner, and here we go. How much influence does the challenger sale still have relevance to B2B solution selling? That is a very specific question on, for instance, a sales methodology, such as what is mentioned there. Challenger sales is one of the methods you can apply, and where there are several interactions observed. So I'm excited that Graham digged in deeply.
Yes. So, of course, Microsoft AI is also in the other areas like dynamic sales and marketing. So, of course, in that areas, you will also find AI capabilities that are helping you, not necessarily from a certain sales methodology perspective, but rather based on, let me say, your working habits. Like it takes data from your CRM and looks, for example, makes suggestions on how to engage whom. Yeah. What would be the most effective way to engage with leads and opportunities. And it's also making you aware of maybe certain things that you are, and that's also, I think, the big benefit towards, let me say, the former kind of analysis and reporting that we were used to having, because AI is, in this case, it's proactive. It really makes you aware of something without you demanding for it. Yeah. So it's telling, okay, you have not engaged with this person for a long time. However, I see a potential here, something like that. And I think this is a great value that comes, but I don't see any kind of methodology like the Challenger sale, as you mentioned here, Graham, that Microsoft is supporting or following in that sense. But I must admit, it's also a while ago I have looked into the sales part, because we are, as said, mainly in project operations. But yeah, I don't think I overlooked anything here.
On my end, eat your own dog food. I guess you still work very frequently with your own tools, such as if you're in your sales role, you still know your Microsoft sales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, of course. I mean, I'm not full sales, let me say. So I'm not doing cold calling and so on. Yeah. And that's probably why I'm not so deeply, I'm not using CRM so deeply as other people are doing it in our organization. However, where, for example, are considering and already doing some things is that we use Microsoft Copilot to help responding to tenders and RFPs.
That is an interesting one, such as I was curious how you do utilize the helping hands. Out of curiosity, where do you utilize your own in your own daily work AI?
We're building our own agent to help responding those questions in there. Of course, based on all the documents that we have. So it takes our own information that we have built in the past, and then at the moment it doesn't create everything on its own, but we're getting there. That it creates a full document. But at the moment, it's already a very big help that you can say, okay, I want a certain integration with Monday.com, whatever, or data migration. What have you done in the past here? How should we do it?
What are your learnings from that? From setting this up? From setting it up?
Well, it's not me setting it up.
But again, when I say you, I always mean the business. So mostly. Sorry.
It's of course. I mean, this stuff is very smart, but if you don't have the right information in your own space, it doesn't help in the end. But on the other hand, it can of course look publicly as well. So in the end, it is definitely, I would say, nearly scaring how good it sometimes is.
And well, there are vastly different expectations in improvement of services. SAP says they target 30% productivity gains. Others say 10x. Others say 100x even, especially in the software development area. So what is your feeling? I assume you didn't measure yet anything. So
we haven't measured
where you are on that scale.
No. I mean, you need those figures when you have investors and shareholders, obviously, to explain why your shares are so.
Comes from a privately owned company by the owner, by the way.
Okay, good.
From the owner.
In that case, we haven't made that. We are not looking at those KPIs yet, but you're right. We should probably think about it. However, let me say, I have a certain feeling that those figures are not always very helpful unless you want to explain certain business values and investments to some people. But my feeling is that reality sometimes is very far away from those KPIs.
Yeah, especially if there are X's involved. It's orders of magnitude, I mean. So, but still, you wouldn't do it if you wouldn't have some benefits. So in speeding up things, higher win rate.
Of course, I mean, Exactly. You should have a plan. Of course, I mean that you should have a business case for every investment you do. That's always best practice, of course. I would just, what I'm saying is I'm just reluctant to admit to certain KPIs beforehand.
Okay.
But of course, your business case, you need to know where you want to go, otherwise you won't get there. Of course, that makes very much sense, yes.
Out of curiosity, the things which work out nicely, you share only in your own entity group, or do you share it with the larger entity you belong to, the Audius Group?
Okay, no, got it. We are working quite independently from Audius.
Okay.
Audius is our holding company, so to say. These are very different entities. They have a very different business. However, when it comes, and we have one opportunity now, we're working together because we can deliver a Dynamics part and they can deliver the Power Platform or the M365 part for a project. So that works out as well. But still, our businesses are quite separated, I would say.
I was focusing on the things that work nicely, such as if you train it on your bot or your agent as an add-on on doing tender offers and answering tender offers smartly. Yep. Wouldn't that be also extremely useful for your colleagues in the other entities?
It's a good idea. You're fully right. Yeah, we have simply not talked about it yet.
Hey, let them pay you for your investment.
Yes. Come in as a consulting client. I would suggest that you do some kind of holding consulting here and look for opportunities here.
Invoice will come later. In how far does difference in corporate culture at your clients or joint clients with Microsoft affect the success rate of a project? And I define success not as implementing it on time and on budget, on quality, but the client receiving positive results out of it.
User adoption is mainly what I would look for in that case.
Okay.
That's what I think is really the most important KPI. Of course, we have. I would say there are two different extremes here. It's a top-down or bottom-up organization. So there are organizations that are working from a management perspective down, and they just tell more or less what people have to use and what is being implemented. And then you have the more consensus-oriented organizations where everybody's being asked what they would love to do. And both extremes, I think, don't work out very well. So it should be somewhere in the middle. But yes, I have experienced those extremes indeed.
I just observed lately a company working very closely to the Blue Cloud, where their owner was in LinkedIn proclaiming himself as Chief Happiness Officer. One of the marvelous results he achieved is he has been bought. Well.
Good.
Let's see how this is working on. Next step I would like to know is, as we approach, my English has to be improved, 5 minutes, 6 minutes to the end of the hour, I would like to step a bit forward on what you call the transformation part. And being yourself as a human being in a permanent transformation and experiencing challenges such as new people, new projects, new technologies. where do you see the future development in the intended transformation from your own organization, from a consulting into a software developing organization? Where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
As an organization, you mean, or personally?
Yeah, not only we can go after you answered the first one. You go to the second step. Where would you like to be?
Yes. Okay. So first step, as said, proMX want to become more an ISV with, let me say, with all the knowledge that we have from all the projects to build very specific solutions and AI agents, for example, as well, to do specific things that Microsoft would never do as a large software vendor.
Okay.
So we would like, we are building in our project experience, so to say, in add-ons that we can resell. And reselling is mainly through partners, of course, who still do consulting. So we are looking, of course, for partnerships with regular Microsoft partners who also do Dynamics projects. And that's also what I'm looking after, that we're not seen as a competitor necessarily, which we probably in certain cases might be, but we're also happy to engage with them at a different level and say, okay, we want to enable you also to do project operations here and to become successful through our add-ons that you can then take and bring in your sales to quicken your sales cycle and to show experience towards your customers.
Okay.
So that's the idea behind it.
Personal development in 5 years?
Yeah, well, personal. The good thing about my role as an alliance manager is that we obviously still need alliances at that time. So I don't see a threat to that. I think from a sales perspective, okay, and managing projects, the shift might maybe towards serving other partners to excel and to perform their projects, so that we enable them to deliver well, not only project operations, but of course also our ISV solutions. I think this would be the change that we would make in the future.
Okay. And you expect that you grow with this organizational growth also in your personal role? Yes,
I think there is a lot of opportunity for me personally also to shift in that role. Yeah, so it's I don't see a problem for me personally in that sense. So, but even as said, I mean, even our consultants who are there, I think they have such a unique and specific knowledge. They will always be helpful towards partners and can help in specific projects here. So there is still high demand in that area. And we can see that also with our GSIs, where we already are working very well together with especially Deloitte, EY. They're really demanding our experts. Yeah, they're really asking for them, and we can definitely help them in their projects.
Well. A minute to go, and I'm still excited as I have not asked you everything I had on my mind. But that is nearly our CRMKonvos for today. This hour just flew by, and to our guests, thank you very, very much for being with us this week. Thank you, Kenneth, for your time and insight, and being after you have had your personal challenge and we had to improvise a step-in special guest, Graham, that we had you now, after all, aboard. and that we have the pleasure to learn about that, what you shared with us, and that the global challenge is not as much as a challenge as I thought it would be. Now, tune in next week when we dive into workforce strategies for agentic AI success with our guest, Mike.
Buzzword laden.
Sorry?
Buzzword laden.
Buzzword lane. We have again so much more to explore and discuss on the AI reality. As we have learned today already something on the AI reality in partner business and where it fits in or does not fit in. So we would love to learn about the workforce strategies for agentic AI and where there are new perspectives we have not seen yet, such as the famous title from Bachmann Turner Override, "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet." Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Please take care and join us next week again when we have a lovely CRM conversation. Thank you very much for being our audience. Bye.